Hack the planet.
Hack the planet!
Alright, how's everybody doing? What are we going to do today? We're on task 3 in the exploiting Active Directory room. I think I've got, by the way, I think I've got some of the audio bugs worked out. So when I mute my microphone, let's just test this out real quick. Okay, if everything was working correctly there, then you wouldn't have heard what was piping into my monitor, which was that a warning that my microphone was muted. So that was one of the problems of last stream. And we had a couple of problems exploiting permission delegation. One was the typo in the instructions, and then also some of the instructions lacked clarity as so far as whose desktop we were supposed to be searching for the flag, and that was a little frustrating. We may have to do a redemption stream today, I'm not entirely sure. Just because, let me turn down the music a little bit, it seems to be peaking pretty high. Just because I think task 3 requires we be tier 2 administrators and have those permissions. I gotta start remembering to, instead of powering down my VM, save the state so I can pick up right where I left off. But we'll see. First things first, we gotta get access. So right now we cannot get our credentials, which is the most surefire way to tell if DNS is configured properly. I'm gonna see if I can just go ahead and use my old OpenVPN configuration. Just out of curiosity, I hope this won't take too much time. It seems like half the stream is spent trying to get OVPN configured and DNS working and making sure we're connected to the network. And again, I think this is where just saving the state would kind of pay off. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the same IP, but we'll figure it out as we go along. I guess what I should do first is make sure that the network is up and running. It is not. Uh-oh, failed to start the network. Network uptime, 9 hours and 8 minutes. I hope that's not... What if we extend it? What if we start it again? What if we refresh the page? Alright, so it's been scheduled to start. Oh my god. Can't talk. It's been a long day. It is ridiculously muggy and hot today. We may have to regenerate OpenVPN configurations. We'll see. Turn the music down a little bit there. I don't know how loud it is for you at home. Let me know in the comments how we're doing. I don't know if I want to wait 5 minutes or if I should just... Music is better? I appreciate it, thank you. Thanks for tuning in and interacting. The only thing I really have to go on in terms of the music volume is the monitor levels. In my ear it plays at different volumes than what you hear at the stream, I think, so I gotta try and tweak it. All right, we're connected. Let's see here. Exploding Kerberos delegation. Let's have the robot read, and we'll see if we have to redo task 2 in order to get the... You know what? I'm gonna SSH in here first. What happened? This is how we'll be able to tell. I'm able to log in as Ross Birdman. Using the credentials we created for him as part of our compromise. Hey! Alright, so the work we did yesterday persists despite the fact that we did not use a save state for our VM. So the compromises we did yesterday are currently available to us today, and I think that will be necessary in task 3. So let's see here. Hopefully I can get the robot to read. Here we go.
Next, we will take a look at Kerberos delegation. When you talk about AD delegation, this is usually what is being discussed, not permission delegation. Kerberos delegation. The practical use of Kerberos delegation is to enable an application to access resources hosted on a different server. An example of this would be a web server that needs to access a SQL database hosted on the database server for the web application that it is hosting.
That was pretty wild. She read SQL as SQL. So I guess it's official. That's how you pronounce it. I prefer to pronounce it squall.
Without delegation, we would probably use an AD service account and provide it with direct access to the database. When requests are made on the web application, the service account would be used to authenticate to the database and recover information. However, we can allow this service account to be delegated to the SQL Server service.
Let me pause it there as I adjust her audio. We need to knock it down by 3 decibels.
Once a user logs into our web application, the service account will request access to the database on behalf of that user. This means that the user would only be able to access data in the database that they have the relevant permissions for without having to provide any database privileges or permissions to the service account itself. Constrained versus unconstrained. There are 2 types of Kerberos delegation. In the original implementation of Kerberos delegation, unconstrained delegation was used, which is the least secure method. In essence, unconstrained delegation provides no limits to the delegation. In the background, if a user with the trusted _for_ delegation flag set authenticates to a host with unconstrained delegation configured, a ticket granting ticket, TGT, for that user account is generated and stored in memory so it can be used later if needed. Suppose an attacker can compromise a host that has unconstrained delegation enabled. In that case, they could attempt to force a privileged account to authenticate to the host, which would allow them to intercept the generated TGT and impersonate the privileged service. If you want to see an example of the exploitation of unconstrained delegation, have a look here.
All right, let's have a look there. Can we read this? All right. This is something I am going to peruse later. I'm diligently saving all the links I encounter in the Try Hack Me tasks to bookmarks, so.
To combat the security failings of unconstrained delegation, Microsoft introduced constrained delegation in 2003. Constrained delegation restricts.
You would think if they named it unconstrained delegation, they would realize that they had, some sort of problem on their hands in terms of security.
What services an account can be delegated to, limiting exposure if an account is compromised. The following are examples of services that can be configured for delegation. HTTP used for web applications to allow pass-through authentication.
And by the way, I know that was probably named retroactively once they came up with constrained delegation, but I still think it's funny regardless.
Using AD credentials. CIFS Common Internet File System is used for file sharing that allows delegation of users to shares. LDAP used to delegate to the LDAP service for actions such as resetting a user's password. Host allows delegation of account for all activities on the host. MS-SQL allows delegation of user accounts to the SQL service for pass-through authentication to databases. Exploiting constrained delegation is usually more complex than exploiting unconstrained delegation, since the delegated account can't just be used for everything. However, it can still be used for some powerful exploitation. An example of this would be if we were able to compromise an AD account that had constrained delegation configured. By knowing the plaintext password or even just the NTLM hash of this account, we could generate a TGT for this account, then use the TGT to execute a ticket granting server (TGS) request for any non-sensitive user account in order to access the service as that user. Imagine impersonating an account with access to a sensitive database, for example. Resource-based constrained delegation. So there are actually 3 types of Kerberos delegation. But this one deserves to be mentioned on its own. Introduced by Microsoft in 2012, Resource-Based Constrained Delegation, RBCD, once again provided additional restrictions on Kerberos delegation for security. RBCD changes the delegation model entirely. Instead of specifying which object can delegate to which service, the service now specifies which objects can delegate to it.
Let's reread that again. Instead of specifying which object can delegate to which service, the service now specifies which objects can delegate to it. Okay, so basically the service is doing the gatekeeping. It's a little difficult to kind of parse what the difference is between this, but I think it's similar to in game development. I used to work a lot with state machine technology, and so I would have like one object that would tell the other objects what to do, and what values they inherited upon creation. And then I realized it made more sense for the other objects to spawn and specify their own parameters, basically. So in this case, it seems like instead of the object saying what service they can connect to, the service is saying what objects can connect to it. So it's basically doing all the gatekeeping duties and so I think that's the best way I can explain it.
This allows the service owner to control who can access it. In our web application example, this means that instead of specifying that the web service account can delegate to the database service to access the database, we can now specify that on the database service that the web service account is allowed to delegate access to it.
So, much like the game development example, it seems the major difference is where you're specifying the access controls.
Say that we have permission to configure RBCD for a service. This means we have the ability to set the MSDS allowed to act on behalf of other identity attribute for the AD object. We can populate this attribute with the details of an AD account that we have access to. To now gain access to the service, we can generate a TGT for the account we control, which will allow us to interact with this service. If you want a detailed example of RBCD exploitation, take a look here.
We're gonna glance here. Yeah, not a whole lot of diagrams to glance at, so we'll revisit this on our own time.
Constrained delegation exploitation. We will exploit constrained delegation for this task. The first thing we need to do is enumerate available delegations. Let's use our new privileged user for the network couple of commands.
See, I just glanced over this task, and this is what kind of made me apprehensive, but like I said, our permissions, our exploits from the previous tasks continue to live on through the network. The network hasn't been reset yet, so we can still use our tier 2 compromised accounts on it.
We can use the getNet user complet of PowerSploit for this enumeration by running the following command. Based on the
Alright. So I think not only are they giving that as an example, I think they want us to do that. So let's get into PowerShell and import module C tools power view. This is a PowerShell script. module. Do I have that correctly? I don't have it correctly. All right, that's my one attempt at typing things out. Let's revert to copying and pasting again. I can't spot the difference anymore. My mind is going. I can feel it. What movie is that from? All right, let's see who is trusted to auth here. So this looks relevant because we're trying to... I mean, the whole purpose of the task was what again? Let's see how they sum it up. To use a service to access the database or whatever on behalf of the other user. Okay, so wait. I'm trying to look where they sum up. Anyways, let's move along a little bit here. Where were we?
Output of this command, we can see that the SVCIIS account can delegate the HTTP and WSMAN services on server 1.
We can see that? I can't see that. I can't see that yet. I don't know how. Okay. Here it is. Oh, allowed to delegate to. Okay, so we can see that. Listman, HTTP. Okay.
You would think that this means we can only access websites on behalf of impersonated users. However, PowerShell remoting uses the HTTP and WSMAN services as well. The ideal option would be to impersonate a Tier 1 admin, since this would provide us with administrative access over server 1. If you were to perform proper post-exploitation enumeration of THMWRK1, you would find that there is a service on the host running as the SVCIIS user. Since we have administrative access now, we can use this to dump LSA secrets, part of the Windows registry hive where credentials are stored for features such as Windows services. Let's use Mimikatz to dump the secrets. Let's run through the two commands.
Okay, I haven't done this task myself, but I have seen some other people accomplish this, and let's see, how do I get out of here? I think they said it's best to run this from... I don't think we want to go into the tools directory. I think we want to run this from a directory we have better permissions over. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. And I think if we just put in the command, it will execute it. If we put in the full path to an executable, it just runs it. It does. Okay, we're learning. Oop, forgot to token elevate. And I know there's an issue where we have to de-elevate at some point, I think. The sys key in the photo is redacted, so I'm imagining that's something we're after. Domain. This is not kind of lining up with... Oh, okay, here we are. Impersonated. SID name is the NT authority system. And all the rest has been redacted as well. Let's run through the two commands. Yes, let's.
Token elevate to dump the secrets from the registry hive. We need to impersonate the system user. Dump secrets Mimikatz interacts with the registry hive to pull the clear text credentials. Now that we have access to the password associated with the SVCIIS account, we can...
Do we? Let's look. Is this it? It's just default password? Or is this it? Password 1@.
And perform a Kerberos delegation attack. We will use a combination of Kikyo and Mimikatz. You can use another window for Mimikatz, but make sure to exit out of Mimikatz after the token elevate command, otherwise the tickets will be loaded in the wrong context later on. We will use Kikyo to generate our tickets and then use Mimikatz to load those tickets into memory. Let's start by generating.
Oh boy, this sounds like something I'm gonna screw up. You can use another window from Mimikatz, but make sure to exit out of Mimikatz after the token elevate command, which we ran. So we gotta get out of this window. So we did exit. Why didn't they just say exit? Why are they trying to confuse me with this talk of another window? Do we have to de-elevate, or does exiting just accomplish that for us? I'm hoping that exiting accomplishes that for us. Okay. I think we have to run Mimikatz again, but first we're running Kiko, huh? I hope I don't screw this up. I'm hoping for one good stream where everything goes correctly from beginning to end.
The tickets. We first need to generate a TGT that can be used to generate tickets for the HTTP and WSMAN services. Parameters explained.
TGT ask user for user. Okay, so we're asking for a ticket granting ticket for the SVCIIS user. Error. Okay, it's not going to go smoothly. Let's start by generating the tickets. I would love to. Let's. Call M. Kerberos and no authenticated info was provided. Am I missing a line? I am. Wait, no, I'm not. We're way up here, right? Okay, yeah, I was missing a line. That's okay. Add that to my notes. Anytime something goes wrong, the first thing you want to check is if... Oh, look at all this stuff coming up in the right hand. Hopefully none of it is too sensitive. All right. I meant to move this to the left-hand side. Anytime you have your windows snapped and something goes wrong, expand your window and see if you're missing stuff. All right. It says pre-auth failed. Is that something, a result that we're supposed to get? No, I think it's supposed to return ticket and file. Password redacted. Oh, we're supposed to use the password from, I'm slow today. And what was it again? Why don't I don't even have my creds folder open or file open. All right, I can salvage this stream. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. We might have to run Mimikatz again. I apologize. I should add our tier 2 just in case I'm inclined to forget. Was password, was it 1 at? Help me out here. Does anybody remember what it was? Holy cow, that is it. Okay, I saw it in passing, and for some reason it stuck. I mean, I guess it's not that difficult to remember, but whatever. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Control U, look at the, oh my gosh. Control K, I'm learning, see? I'm getting better at Linux. So this is service IIS. All right, ticket in file, TGT, service, IIS at, okay, so we're successful thus far.
User, the user who has the constrained delegation permissions. Domain, the domain that we are attacking, since Kikyo can be used to forge tickets to abuse cross-forest trust. Password, the password associated with the SVCIAS account. Now that we have the TGT for the account that can perform delegation, we can forge TGS requests for the account we want to impersonate. We need to perform this for both HTTP and WSMAN to allow us to create a PS session on server 1. Parameters explained. TGT, we...
Wait right there. Again, I'm gonna expand this to see if I'm missing anything. See, I have it highlighted, so are we supposed to be using Trevor Jones? Is that just an example of placeholder? Am I supposed to update some of the parameters here? Did they get Trevor Jones from the get users command? I think they just selected a tier 1 administrator at random here. Okay, I think this is the totality of the command, so let's go ahead and send it. Nope. We're supposed to be we're in Kiko. I wonder if what happened? Oh, alt, all right. Me just talking to myself like a crazy person, I don't know how useful that is for anyone. Just thinking everything out loud. Let's see here. I wonder if this ticket parameter we were supposed to, this looks like it's part of the output, but we might have to pass it in. What is going on? Why can't I manipulate windows correctly? Maybe only this is... Oh, we're no longer in Kiko. Why? Oh, it's Alt backspace in Windows command line. Alright, we're going to just try this as the command and see what happens. Or do we have to have this other stuff loaded first? I think we have to have the other stuff loaded first. I don't think there's any harm in redoing it just in case anyways. Why can't it just keep me where I was? I don't think I even need to copy this. I think I can just use the history. Ticket in file, okay. I think this is it's just this is the command in its entirety. Error, a TGT is needed. Okay, so I'm gonna go in the opposite direction, and I'm going to say that all of this is part of the command. I am not familiar with Kikyo. I'm just grateful we haven't run into the problems we had previously where copying line breaks from one command line interface to another causes the command to execute prematurely. Paste. All right. Take it away, robot.
Provide the TGT that we generated in the previous step. User, the user we want to impersonate. Since T2 accounts have administrative access over workstations, it is a safe assumption that T1 accounts will have administrative access over servers. So choose a T1 account that you would like to impersonate.
Trevor
Service
Jones.
the services we want to impersonate using delegation. We first generate a TGS for the HTTP service. Then we can rerun the same command for the WSMAN service. Run the command again, this time for the WSMAN service. Now that we have the two TGS tickets, we can use Mimikatz to import.
Okay, I think they're, first of all, what? Yeah, it was wild. That took like an hour to troubleshoot. Thankfully, I think all the problems that I've encountered today have been of my own making, and I think they're going to continue to be of my own making shortly. Because, let's see. Ticket and file. Where was... This output is not... Okay, I'm seeing all this. Let's just expand the window. See what we're missing. Doc Kirby, I'm not seeing... Oh, okay, I am seeing that here. All right, now we have to run it not for HTTP, but what the wuss man? Where do I punch that in? Service HTTP. So I think if we just plug that in where the HTTP is. No, that's not what I want. All right, here goes nothing. I don't know if I screwed something up there, just hitting enter, but here we go. Seems to have worked correctly. Now I think we switch over to Mimikatz, right? I think this is where it is important to run Mimikatz in another window. Do I have to SSH back in? I am very new to this. I don't want to abandon my Kikyo session because that might break something. This part again, I don't know if this is necessary. I think it's Mimikatz trunk. x64 Mimikatz.exe. That is not correct. Let's see where I went wrong. Holy cow, it might be entirely correct. My short-term memory is shot. I think I've received too many concussions, and so I'm always astonished if any portion of my memory works, short or otherwise. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if you're just starting out, everything's going to be over your head, right? You got to jump in somewhere, sometime. So that's what we're doing. Is this correct? Mimikatz trunk x64 Mimikatz. I think that is correct. Holy cow. All right. Sometimes I do impress myself. Mimikatz, where are we? Privilege debug. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to fully comprehend everything at every part of the way. Some of it is just learning by osmosis, becoming comfortable and familiar with things until it all kind of just falls into place. I find with a lot of my technical learning, that's how it is. Like, you just kind of go through the motions, not really grasping everything 100%. And then eventually, like, the neurons just form the pathways on their own, and you come to some sort of understanding magically. All right, we have the two TGS tickets. We can use Mimikatz to import them. Over under on any of this working. Let me know how confident you are in this working at any any point here. I'm a Kerberos.part. And that is just part of the command, I'm assuming. I wish I could stream two screens at the same time. Because so far today, the only real problem we've run into is that snapping the windows has caused us to lose lines. It says, okay, that's a good sign. And then we do Kerberos PTT again, pass the ticket. I'm assuming that at first I thought it was part. I am now revising my answer to be, that means pass the tickets. We did not get a response that time. Oh, because this is, again, one of those long commands. The way I've been reading this, it looks like this is output, but it's not. It's input. And I got another okay, so that's good. You can exit Mimikatz and run Clist if you want to verify. Let's have the robot read it.
You can exit Mimikatz and run Clist if you want to verify that the tickets were imported. Now that the tickets are imported, we can finally create our PS session on Server 1. With the exploitation of constrained delegation, we now have privileged access to Server 1.
If you say so. Talking robot voice, disembodied lady. All right, so we're very close to the end of this task here. And I feel confident that thus far it has gone swimmingly. So let's see here. All right, exit Mimikatz. New PS session on THM server 1. Fingers crossed. Because we're not in PowerShell. Holy cow. It worked. Wait. Okay, now we have to actually enter the computer. Ooh. I don't know why we're asking who am I. It is obvious that we are Trevor Jones. Alright. Hey. We did pretty well this time around. Which Kerberos delegation type allows for delegation of all services? Unconstrained delegation. Correct answer. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm gonna give myself a hack the planet there. We did it. Which Kerberos delegation type allows the service to specify who is allowed to delegate to it? This is 3 words. This is the 3rd type of Kerberos delegation. Unconstrained service delegation. I'm just synthesizing words. Resource-based constrained delegation. Okay. Kind of close. I mean, I had the words delegation in there. Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system of the system via delegation? What? Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system of the system via delegation. I feel like I'm living in a cuckoo clock. This is like a tongue twister. File system of the system. Delegation to the file system of the system via delegation. Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system of... Let's just get rid of the redundant system there. Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system via delegation? Oh my god. Anybody? Anybody want to field that? I kind of want to say... Which constrained delegation service? Yeah, me neither. I'm just going to search for the keywords here. So this is the first of 21 matches. Least secure method. Ticket granting tickets. TGT. It's only 4 letters, so... Oh, okay, so it's one of these. I'm assuming. That might be an incorrect assumption. The service to the service for the delegation. Let's reread it, shall we? Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system of the system via delegation? Which constrained delegation service allows access to the file system via delegation? CIFS. It's got to be CIFS, right? Because that's the only file system. Not SIDS. Who put that? CIFS, right? CIFS. Okay. I guess that just seemed more complicated than it was. What is the value of the flag stored in the desktop directory of the administrator user on THM server 1 flag 2 text? Okay, so this is where we ran into problem last night. You're always trying to compromise an administrator account, and we did just that, but they don't want our desktop that we compromised. They want a user whose actual name is administrator. They don't want they don't want an administrator account. They want the administrator account. That was very frustrating last night. All right. So let's cd into the C users, and we should be able to find it right away. Dir cd. Wait. What? I thought I was in the users. Oh, I didn't. I'm not even gonna look. I'm just gonna plow into the desktop blindly. Dir. What's the nano version? Type. Flag 2.text. We did it. Constrained delegation can be very bad, but it beats unconstrained delegation. That is not what I wanted. Let's just use right click, shall we? And you know what happens when we get a flag?
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Hack the planet times 2. All right. Constrained delegation can be very bad. We got through this pretty readily. So, I mean, we might as well go on, see if our luck holds out, shall we? We shall. And this one I have not seen in any shape, way, or form, so this could go very poorly, but Thanks for joining me and believing in me. We'll get through this. All right. Robots. Do your job.
In this task, we will take a look at some automated relays.
I should have that as a
Authentication attempts are constantly flying
Zero
across the
cool
network,
pointing
and as
going
shown
do
in the
your
breaching
job.
AD room, if we are lucky, we can intercept some of these challenges to gain access. But what if we don't like to wait? What if we can coerce authentication to occur? Although we already have privileged access to Server 1, we could be in a position where we did not have access to a constrained delegation exploit. This is another excellent attack that can be performed to gain privileged access to hosts. Machine accounts. All Windows hosts have a machine account. Essentially, this is the user account associated with the machine. Unless someone tampered with the account of the host, the passwords of these accounts are uncrackable. By default,
Yeah,
they are
120
120 characters, UTF-16, long and are automatically rotated every 30 days. In
Practically
AD,
uncrackable.
these machine accounts are used quite a bit in different services. Different domain controllers use their machine accounts to synchronize AD updates and changes. When you request a certificate on behalf of the host you are working on, the machine account of that host is used for authentication to the AD certificate service. There is an exceptional case in AD, where one machine has admin rights over another machine. Essentially, in the AD configuration, administrative permissions over a host have been granted to another host. Again, this is expected functionality such as domain controllers or SQL clusters that must be synchronized. However, these instances provide a very interesting attack vector for coercing authentication. We
Again,
first
it
need
always-
to
oh,
identify
that's not-
cases where
That's the wrong voice recording. It always freaks me out when she's able to pronounce school correctly. Just thought I'd
a machine
mention that
account
again.
has administrative access over another machine. We can use Bloodhound for this, but it means we will have to write some custom cipher queries. Click the Create Custom Query in the Analysis tab in Bloodhound.
Oh my gosh.
We want to write the following.
She skipped a couple of steps there, huh? Alright, so this is the first time I've seen, when I was chatting with ChatGPT, and I was trying to see if I could reset my Bloodhound and or Neo4j password. She mentioned cipher queries. So I'm imagining this is some sort of scripting engine particular to Neo4j and or Bloodhound and or Sharphound. So we have to launch Bloodhound again. I think we can exit out of this stuff here. Maybe not. Let's, there's no harm in letting them run. Let's just rename this as... This is our IIS server, right? I'm going to call it IIS, and if I'm wrong, we'll revisit it later. Sudo Neo4j start. And let's take a, oh. So I can't just click that, huh? Copy link address, and let's go in here. Now, for these try hack me tasks, we have to be using a very particular version of Bloodhound, and in this case, it's 4.1.0 because Bloodhound has compatibility issues across its various incarnations. So I already have it down. Good news is, as I mentioned before, you don't have to uninstall your current version. You can just download it to a directory and run it from the folder, which I've already done. So try hack me exploit AD. I think it should be in this folder anyways. CD Bloodhound ls. I think we just do Bloodhound no sandbox. It should fire up. It fired up. Good. Neo4j is the default user, and Well, you've just seen my password. I'll try to change it later as I become more familiar with Cypher scripting. Please don't hack me. Professional courtesy. Alright, enter a Cypher query, raw query. We first need to identify cases where a machine account has administrative access over another machine. We can use Bloodhound for this. Administrative access over another machine. Where one machine, a machine account, has administrative account. Okay, we can use Bloodhound for this, but it means we will have to write some custom Cypher queries. Click the Create Custom Query in the Analysis tab in... That's why I have the robot read it. We want to write the following query. We do. I do. I very much want to write it. More specifically, I want to copy and paste it. All right, Bloodhound. And what am I looking for? Analysis, custom query. Where do I find that? There we go. No user defined custom queries. Let's click on the pencil. Name your query. Robot told me to do this query. Enter a Cypher query. Your query must return nodes or paths. All right, so let's see if we can figure out what this is saying. This query will attempt to find instances where a computer has the admin-to relationship over another computer. So I think at some point I'm going to have to, in addition to learning everything else on the planet, we're going to have to learn how to write Cypher queries. Hopefully there's some sort of cheat sheet somewhere on the internet that we can run. All right, do I just hit enter? You should see output similar to this. I do see output similar to this. Okay, so what are we looking at? Who are our nodes? Server management, THM server 1, THM server 2. This is the only one with the admin 2 attribute, but it looks like it's going the other way from server management. So I think we have to get here to get here. I don't know. Let's read further, shall we? I'm not even gonna attempt to guess there.
Match P sadface C1 computer dash R1 member of asterisk 1 dash G group dash R2 admin 2 dash N computer return P. This query will attempt to find instances where a computer has the admin to relationship over another computer. You should see output similar to this. This is very interesting. It shows us that the server 2 machine account has administrative privileges over the server 1 machine. The printer bug. It's not a bug, it's a feature, Microsoft. Seriously. Let's
just review that. This is very interesting. It shows us that THM server 2 machine account has administrative privileges over the TH server. Oh my god. 1 machine. Is that what it shows? Member of admin 2. I'm guessing through disjunctive inference, if A then B and B then C, then A then C. Let's just review and see if that's the case with our diagram. THM server 2. If A then B and B then C, then A then C. THM server admin 2 privileges. Okay, I guess that's what it's saying. If you say so, robot lady. Continue.
When this was reported, Microsoft responded that this was a feature. The printer bug is a feature of the MSRPRN protocol, Print System Remote Protocol, which allows a domain user to remotely force a target host running the print spooler service to authenticate to an arbitrary IP address. There have been a few of these bugs in recent years: spooler, petit potom, print nightmare. Microsoft claims that the only bug is that some of these did not require AD credentials at all, but this issue has been resolved through security patches. Therefore, to exploit this, apart from machine account administrative privileges, we also need to meet the following 4 conditions. A valid set of AD account credentials. Network connectivity to the target's SMB service. The target host must be running the print spooler service. The hosts must not have SMB signing enforced. Condition 1 and 2 have been met already. The only 2 we need to ensure work.
That's a big one, but I think from what I understand, currently, or as of recently at least, this is the default, is to not have SMB signing enforced. Don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding.
Works are conditions 3 and 4. Print spooler service. We need to determine if the print spooler service is running. Since we don't have access to the server 2, we need to query from the network perspective. In this case, we can use a WMI query from our SSH session on THMWRK1 to query the service's current state.
Okay, let's do that then. Man, I even copy and paste slow. Alright, where were we? It's a good thing I didn't kill these services then, huh? We need... Oh, we are in PowerShell. And I'm that Trevor Jones guy still. Alright. Control-Shift-V. Access is denied. What did I do wrong? All right, the audio is the volume is all over the place here. I mean, I copied and pasted. I don't know what else I can do here. Not specified. Get WMI objects. Unauthorized access exception. Fully qualified Air ID system. Unauthorized access of Microsoft PowerShell commands. I'm guessing sudo wouldn't help me in this instance, huh? Do I have to be in a different... Oh, maybe I have to be in a directory I have better permissions over? So let's change to... I mean, I've heard that's a thing. But I've never experienced it being a thing myself. The robot voice is kind of distracting me. Yeah, so no, that's not the issue. What is the issue? Oh, boy. We're doing so well, too. We're moving right along. Now we've kind of hit a brick wall because I have no idea how to get around this. Was I in PowerShell? I'm in PowerShell. What if I exit PowerShell and... Rosbert... Oh, I exited out of... T1. How do I get back in? Do I have to redo the whole thing? Maybe I'm supposed to be running this from the T1? Let's give it a shot anyways. Oh. No. How do I get back into... Do I have to do all of... I think I have to do all of task 3 again. Oh boy. Do I have all the commands loaded up from previously? Where's Mimikatz? Can I just run the very last portions of the command and get back in? Let's read ahead. I may cancel the rest of this stream abruptly, and I'll just do all the other work off screen and be ready tomorrow. I don't want to bore you with having to do task 3 all over again. I wish there was a way to prevent that. I guess it's... better familiarity with shells, I suppose. If we get an access, see, I should have just read ahead a little bit. Lesson number 2, read ahead. Get printer port, computer name. However, Microsoft has been cracking down viewing these ports from the network's perspective. If both give you an error, you may just need to take a leap of faith. Thus, the condition 3 has been met. Okay, so we didn't even have to do that. Good to know now. Thanks. SMB signing. In order to, of course, the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is one from our attack machine. I'm just going to scan ahead a little bit and see. So this is from THM Work 1, not the IIS server. I think this is just an alternate way to get into the IIS server, correct? I can answer some of these without doing any work. SMB signing. I can't answer them without being able to spell. How often in days are the passwords of Windows machine accounts rotated by default? 30. That was just an educated guess. What is the value of the flag? Oh, we need a flag. Okay. So again, I think this is just an alternate way to get into... Wait. What server? THM server 1, yeah. I think this is just an alternate way, so I don't think we need to be logged in. Alright, speaking of leaps of faith, let's just go ahead and do stuff and see if it works. Shall we? We shall. Control-Shift-T for another terminal window. This is our attack box. Can I snap this without it deleting all the instructions? I want to snap this. And map. Script equals smb2.security mode p445 thm server 1.za.tryhackme.loc Why? Oh, and 2. All right. THM and Amare catching a typo there. Server 2.za.tryhackme.loc. And I can use my new commands that I just learned. Oh, wait, it's Alt B. Alt B allows you to jump back words at a time. So here we are. There's an extraneous E there. There's still an extraneous E there. And add back the M in. Nmap, unrecognized option. That's because it should be an equal sign, not a plus sign. Setting Nmap. Failed to resolve. Oh my god. Did we let we took so long the network expired, right? I'm guessing. No, 22 minutes left. Why can't we resolve those servers? THM server 1.za.tryhackme.loc, yeah. Excuse me. What happened to our music? I'm easily distracted. I don't want to deal with what's in front of me, apparently. Alright. Same thing. Can't resolve. But why? Commands are correct. THM server 1.za. Is this? Do we still have access to credentials? No, DNS is completely broken. Why is it completely broken? Why did our DNS configuration just wipe itself out? Just self-destruct. Alright, hopefully this can be easily fixed. No. That doesn't mean anything. That means very little in the context of DNS, but... Okay, we're back in business. Nmap, blah, 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 blah. Nope, this is the incorrect one. That's the correct one. Alright. It's working. That was a quick fix. I must say, this stream has been better than most of mine, at least. Not better than most, but better than most of the ones I've done previously. 445 is SMB. It's open. Security mode. Signing not enabled. Let's see if, yep, signing enabled but not required. Oh, wait. Okay, so that's good enough, I think. We can still use, okay, let's have the robot. I don't want humans to put robots out of a job, so.
The output from the command verifies that the service is running. If we get an access denied error, you could perhaps attempt the PowerShell command of get printerport computer name server2.za.tryhack.lock. However, Microsoft has been cracking down viewing these ports from the network's perspective. If both give you an error, you may just need to take a leap of faith. Thus, condition 3 has been met. SMB signing. In order to relay the coerced authentication attempt, SMB signing should not be enforced. It should be noted that there is a difference between SMB signing being allowed and SMB signing being enforced. Since some legacy systems do not support SMB signing, by default, the configuration of SMB is that signing is allowed but not enforced, meaning that it will only be used if supported. Since we will be hosting a malicious SMB server, we can ensure our server does not support signing, forcing the target not to sign the SMB authentication attempt. To verify that Server 1 and Server 2 do not have SMB signing enforced, we can use nmap on our attack box.
Nmap.
We can see that SMB signing is enabled but not enforced based on the output. This means all our conditions are met, and we can start the attack. Exploiting authentication relays. Note, this attack can be unstable. Abusing the print spooler service may cause it to crash, and a callback is not always guaranteed. For this reason, the previous task already provided you with the permissions required to continue. However, understanding authentication relays and how to force them is essential for AD exploitation. As such, the steps to perform such an attack are provided below. You can decide to give it a go, but a callback is not guaranteed. If it does not work, move on to the next task and perhaps explore this again at the end of your room journey. We will be using spool sample to exploit the authentication relay. It is a C# exploit that has already been compiled for you and stored in the C:\tools/ directory on THMWRK1. We will use spoolsample.exe to coerce server 2 to authenticate to us on our attack box and then impact its ntlmrelayx.py to relay the authentication attempt from server 1. Note that if you are using your own VM, you will need to make sure you have the updated version of Impacket that supports SMBD2. The first step is to set up the NTLM relay. On our attack box, we can use the following. If we specify the host name of server 1 instead of the IP, the host could request that we use Kerberos authentication instead of NTLM. Hence, we should specify the IP instead. With the relay listening, we can now coerce server 2 to authenticate to us. In an SSH terminal on THMWRK1, execute the following. Your attacker IP should correspond with your TUNX interface for the network. If all goes well, you should have received an authentication attempt and a relay to server 1. This output resembles what would happen if you used...
Hopefully this will work because I don't want to have to re-authenticate. By which I mean redo task 3 altogether. Exploiting on nothing. Okay, so ctools on THM work. First one, the terminal. Python 3.9, opt impact examples. THM server 1 IP. This is no longer IIS. This is... Let's do the whole thing. Work 1. Alright, how's everybody doing out there? Are you starting to fatigue as I am? This stuff can be pretty exhausting, emotionally if nothing else. Alright, this is from our attack box. Let's clear this. Attacker IP is... No, this is... I'm running the wrong command on the wrong box. So far, not good. Control K should kill the line. Control U will also kill the line. Alright. What's your project? Is this the one where you were gluing magnets onto the 3D print? We're almost to the end. Promise, just 10 more minutes. I don't promise that. I hope it will only be 10 more minutes. My arcade, my 3D printed arcade project is pretty much a bust as well. Some of the PLA was very resistant to the sun. I spray painted it and left it out on the sun to dry. Some of the PLA, perfectly fine. And then the same make, model, and color of the PLA just completely melted, basically. And I have a lot of like 3D printed bike accessories that have been out in the direct sun for years and no problems with them. So I think Hatchbox, which is the brand I typically use, I think they've changed their formulation and it is no longer UV resistant. Cool. What kind of restaurant is it? Also, how are you designing them? Are they like neon signs? Are you designing them in CAD? I have so many questions. You've had PLA melt. Have you come across some PLA being super resistant and some PLA melting? Because that was weird. THM server 1, what's our IP? Why is this? Okay. 83.201. 10.200. Nope, I'm not in the window. 10.200. Nope, that's 2000 is also incorrect. Let's see, any other parameters to change? That looks good. I'm going to send it. Python 3, command not found. What Python are we with? Opt impact. I think this is only, yeah. This can only run from the web-based attack box. I think. Do we have an impact, opt impact directory? So are the signs, are they neon or restaurant is a modern take on bar food, kind of like Asian artesian burgers, sandwiches, etc. Doing some initial effective design in Inkscape and once approved all 3D printed. Cool. Quick question, feel free to ignore it. How do you come across jobs like that? Was that a friend of a friend or Craigslist, or I imagine you live in a pretty big city where jobs like that are easier to come by. I live out in the middle of nowhere. There's a video, I saw a video of a like Korean neon shop sign, how they've kind of retooled to use strip LEDs instead of neon. It was interesting. Okay. CD. Opt. Impact it. Control. Okay, can I copy the whole thing here? Let me use the GUI. Huh. That's cool. Today I just took out an ad on Craigslist trying to make people aware of my 3D services, but I don't know how successful it's going to be. Let's see if we can find opt. Okay, so there is an opt folder. We do have impact it, but it has a crazy name. README. I'm going to rename this if I can find that I have the version number stored elsewhere. And there is, wait, is this the, how old is this? Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin border in the middle of nowhere. That does sound like nowhere. I imagine it's mostly fields and plains and that sort of thing. My nearest neighbors are, some of them farmers, so I'm pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, but not too far off from Buffalo. Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy in 3D printing offerings. It's good to get into sort of a niche thing. Let's see here. Was this installed using pip? Oh god, anytime you see the greater than equals sign, I've had a lot of problems with that. Sudo apt-get update. Mostly corn, yeah. That's where our fructose comes from. All right, they're recommending we have the latest version of Impact. I'm not sure if that's sound advice, considering that we had to have the least latest version of Bloodhound to get this working. So I'm not super confident that this will work. But we're gonna apt-get update everything, apt-get upgrade everything, and then try to upgrade Impact it on its own additionally and see how that goes. Second time anyways. Figures in bust and painting them with metal paint and patinaing them. They take a bit more work, but sell better than flexi animals. Oh yeah, absolutely. Abort? Do you want to continue? Yes, and then it says abort. Why? Capital Y? Okay, you have to be very specific sometimes. Custom light boxes? Yeah. I had a, I'm sure you're familiar with this. I had a, well, you know, I had the crowdfund for the resin printer. I was really open to getting into printing some more detailed stuff. I do some ZBrush sculpting on my other channel. And I'll probably do some on this channel too, on like off-topic Tuesdays and whatnot. And I have a samurai character that I've been working on forever, and I'd like to see him realized as a resin print. In fact, while this is updating, let's take a look at it. I'm hoping it will load. I think I have 16 gigabytes of RAM installed, so. This should work. Although the divide between it should work and it does work, I'm finding is vast. It's dead. It's NCP. It's Nickel City Pixels. I used to have a game development company as part of the Tech Incubator program here in New York State, but that turned out to be a scam. And I was kind of extorted for positions on the board. And if I had known I was being extorted, I would have been like, yeah, sure, whatever I can do to get my funding, but I didn't realize it at the time. And so the whole thing kind of fell apart due to corruption. This is not the model. This is a placeholder model that Sketchfab foists upon us. For what reason, I'm not sure. Let's try to refresh. This is really chugging. I know it's a VM and all, but here we go. I can see it in the background. We're not missing anything. It's still upgrading. Run system CTL daemon reload to reload units. Do I have to do that right now? Still loading. This is a complicated sculpt. So it is still loading. We're gonna have to remember not to use this audio stream because the audio is not normalized. It's kind of all over the map in terms of volume. Still loading. I think this only has 40,000 polygons, so it shouldn't take that long to load. And then, of course, it has a bunch of normal map trickery. Ooh, is it loaded? I think it's loaded. Now, will I be able to rotate it around without it crashing everything? I don't have the head sculpted yet. I'm doing a, thanks, I appreciate it. For the head, I'm just doing I'm experimenting with photogrammetry. This is, you know what, I'm going to just paste the link in chat. The diffuse map on the hands isn't that good either. Alright, I'm giving up on trying to rotate this. It's just too much for the virtual machine to handle. You can see it goes all gobbledygook when it's in the process of rotating. But if you want to take a look at it on some more capable IRL hardware, feel free to use that link. I have a couple other models too, dinosaurs and X-Men versus Street Fighter characters, that sort of thing. Let's see how we're doing. So far so good. Wait, nope, that's not the system control something. Daemon reboot, reload. Okay, hopefully that worked. And let's make sure we update in packets. And again, deprecation Python 2.7 reached the end of its life on January 1st, 2020. Please upgrade your Python as Python 2.7 is no longer maintained. Boy. All right. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah. I've been working on that longer than I care to even think about, let alone relate to anybody else. But I also at one point had been working on a video game. I don't know if you've ever seen One Finger Death Punch. So I got a little ways into actually using this in-game on a demo that was very much like One Finger Death Punch in terms of its one finger mechanics. Which Python do I have? .11. So this has to be greater than or equal to 3.4, and it is. What does this mean? Not in greater than or equal to 3.4. Yeah. Maybe pip itself has to be upgraded? Yeah, a lot of things are just broken. Alright, I think it's just pip that's the problem here. I'm gonna proceed as if in packet is okay, and it's gonna work. Let's hope. Alright, so what do I have to do? Where was I? We kind of became a just chatting stream for a moment there. Python 3.9, we're on 3.11. Could we just say Python? Will it use 3.9? Will it use earlier versions? I'm so confused. All right, the one thing we do have to do is change the name of our folder, our directory here. So let's go and what? Oh. Can we change it to impact it? I don't need any help derailing. I can do that all on my own. I'm very good at it. Why can't I rename this? Okay, double click and rename it. Can I use just the move command? All right, you know what I'm going to do? Okay. Instead of renaming the folder, I'm going to rename the command. Let's make sure an examples. Okay, so we're not going to go into the impacted folder. All right. Back on track. We're doing good. What's the name here? And I'm not typing anything because where am I? I'm not even in the window. All right, -0.19. Nope, 0.9.19. Python 3.9, not found. Will our current version work? Let's find out. 11 point, what do we have? 8. Would you settle for Python 3 or just Python? Okay, so it would settle for that. And we're back on track. If this works, they said that this doesn't always work. Let's close out our Tiger Samurai. Now we're on work 1 in a PowerShell environment. Our attacker IP what are the chances I remember our IP from like 3 tasks ago? We're going to say send.50.46.185. Let's find out if we're correct. Nope, it has changed since then. 81.151. But I promise you, if we go back and watch previous streams for the longest time, it was 46.185. Now it's 81.151. 81.151. And send it. And let's see how we do. No. Spool sample exec is not recognized as the name of commandlet function. Oh, we gotta be in tools. All right, cd c tools dir spool sample is there. Yep. All right. No, come on, I did the thing you wanted. Is not found but does exist in the current location. The command spool sample exec was not found but does exist. How do you know it exists if you couldn't find it? Windows PowerShell does not load commands from the current location by default. If you trust this command, instead type spool sample.exe. Okay. You know, if you knew that, you could have just... You didn't have to bother me with it. You could have just done it on your own, yeah? shellcode, executing RDI, calling exported function, target server, your attack drive, blah, blah, blah. Target server attempted authentication and got an access denied. If coercing authentication to an NTLM challenge response capture tool, this is expected in case the coerced authentication worked. All right, so it kind of knows we're hacking it. That's interesting. Your attacker IP should correspond with your TUNX interface, not TUNX, it should be exploit AD, right? I think TUNX means whatever open VPN you're using. If all goes well, you should have received an authentication attempt and a relay to THM server 1. We're back on our attack box in this instance, but not the IPA one. Hey, it did. It dumped the hashes and stuff. Received connection from authenticating against SMB. Succeeded because again it's signing not required. Where's the hash dump? Server admin. I think this is the hash. There's a bunch of them. And now I think we have to do a pass the hash if we want to get back on THM server 1, right? You know what? I'm going to take a break there and look into this. See if I can go back in time, look at the pass the hash attack, and figure out how to go about this. A little more research is needed anyways, because again, I don't want to have to redo the previous task in order to get back on the IIS server, which I think that's where we're going, right? I'm not even entirely sure at this time. In any event, we're overdue for a break, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a little break. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll rejoin me after the break. I'm going to put the mic on mute. Hopefully you don't hear the muted warning. And I'll see you in a moment. Thanks, bye.
Are we fashionably late?
All right, so a little more than 10 minutes there. From some of my investigative research, let's call it OSINT, I have deduced that the easiest way to pass the hash... Now, we've done pass the hash attacks previously, but there's an application that makes it all the more easy for us. And that application is Evil WinRM. And apparently, it's already installed, even though I've never used it before. So, if we just run it, it'll tell us what to do, right? It'll give us help. Okay. Apparently, I am not familiar with this application. Usage. TAC I, IP, TAC U, user. Scripts path, execs paths, port, pass, hash, H hash. Okay, I'm gonna throw darts at this until I hit something. Dash I, and then we need the IP of wherever we're attacking, and I'm not entirely sure. Server 1, right? All right, so the IP is 10.200.83.201 dash U user is, what was our user? Server admin, right? Because this is a machine account, if I'm remembering the text correctly. Server admin, and now what? Port we don't want, pass we don't not want, we want to put in the hash. We need a TAC, not a underscore. I learned that word today, TAC, and I'm going to use it ad nauseum. So now we need the hash back to our creds, and I think this is the operative part. Control Shift C. Look, I'm learning. Control Shift C. Control Shift V. What do you think? What is your level of confidence that this will work on a scale of 1 to 5? Please type it in the comments now. 1 to 5. 5 being, I am absolutely positive this will work. You know what? Things have been going so well today. I'm going to give myself a confidence level of 4. 4.2. Is Ruby limitation. Quoting detection proc function is unimplemented on this machine. Come on. Wait. PSC users administrator documents. It said warning. Yet we're in. I think we're in. I'm in. I need more clips. All right, tomorrow or the next day, I'm gonna add more clips to the Try Hard, Try Hack Me stream deck. Try Hard, Try Hack Me stream deck. All right. We don't want to be in documents. We want to be on desktop, right? Desktop directory, right? So CD, I think we do 2 dots to go up. Oh God. Okay. A little bit laggy there. And dir. Flag 2 and type flag2.txt. No. What? Administrator.za. Okay, so cd c users administrator.za desktop, just blindly plowing in here. And yeah, it's what do we have here? Some sort of bug. Literally, there's a bug climbing all over my screen. Alright, type flag 3.txt. Alright, printing some shells. And at this point, my mind has been wiped clean of everything we've done up until this point. Printing some shells vaguely reminds me that a printer was involved at some point here. I am going to have to revisit a lot of this stuff after I'm done. As I was talking to Trent earlier, again, you just kind of poke blindly through the tasks and lessons, and eventually, hopefully, things fall into place. So far, they are not in place. They are disjointed, discombobulated, here and there, thither and thither. But I think, hopefully, as I recommit to my studies, and I'm doing this every night, I think the neurons are going to form lasting connections, and I'm going to be able to become the world's most okay hacker in no time. Let's see. Hint, no. Submit. Correct answer. And anytime we get a flag, we get a...
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
double the hack the planet. Alright, so we have hacked part of the planet today. We'll hack another part of the planet tomorrow. Thank you very much to all who joined us, and especially to Trent for interacting with the stream. It makes it that much more better. More better. That's the phrase, the secret word of the night. More better. Thank you, and goodbye.